Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my brand new Storm Mage Witch for Path of Exile 2. This thing is pushing all content. It is an absolute beast. As always, I will show you every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now what you're looking at right now is Juice Tier 15 maps, and this is arguably the strongest build I have put together. Now, for this witch, we are using Storm Mages, and Storm Mages are spec'd into two different versions. We are using one Storm Mage to apply shock, and the other one's the damage dealer, spec'd into just elemental multiplicative damage. And we are just walking through maps most of the time. Yesterday on stream, we were able to push to level 90. Now, other skills we are using, we're still spec'd into Loyal Hellhound, and our Loyal Hellhound is now 6-linked. So he is fully beefed up. We switched out our Scepter and now using Malice to give enemies critical weakness to help with just overall damage output. Newcomer to the build is we are using Unearth. And Unearth is great because we make up to 22 of these bone minions, and they just help with body blocking, survivability, applying shock, and just overall survivability and map clearing. Now they don't do a ton for bossing, because obviously you need a corpse to make them, but every once in a while the boss will bring out some minions and you can get them up and running. They are more just a convenience for running the end game. And I'm telling you right now, the second you start using them, you're gonna be like, wow, you're gonna fall in love like I did. At this point, I think we're done with Flame Wall and SRS. I made 3 builds with them, and we're attempting something new, see if we could find something better. But all in all, Storm Mages, I'm very surprised with how strong these are. I think from a damage output, that it might be the best. So yesterday when I was streaming, we were able to juice and get a T20 boss up. And I'm gonna switch over to that fight now so you can see that. This is me streaming yesterday. Where'd all the minions go? That's for sure more damage. T20 boss smoked. So now let's break down the skills for our Storm Witch, and I'm going to start at the top and just work my way down. Now, previously we were using Skeleton Mage Scepter. I have switched this to Malice. Both of them work totally fine, but what I like about Malice is it gives enemies critical weakness. And since they have critical weakness, that means you're going to be doing more damage because we have spec'd into crit for this build. And I will show you that during the passive tree, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to use Malice. We are. And the only support I'm using right now is mana regen because the other ones require spirit and don't give you a big boost. Moving over into Summon Infernal Hound, we have hit level 90 and now have a full 6-link. We are using Maim, Culling Strike, Ignites inflicted by supporting skills spread with Wildfire. We're going to be blowing up those enemies. Enemies ignited by supported skills have a 60% chance to explode. And then we're just giving our Hellhound more life with Meat Shield. Now, this took me a long time to figure out. We have 2 different skeleton mages here. And also, I'm still not 100% sure if we want 10 and 2. Right now, though, I do like it 1 and 11, and it's working pretty well. Now, one of the Storm Mages, very simple, is your Shock Mage. This minion's whole job is to ensure enemies have shock on them. And on here, we have Conduction, 100% more chance to shock. We are taking Stormfire. Shocks from supported skills do not expire on ignited enemies because, of course, again, our Hellhound will be igniting all enemies. And then we are taking Lightning Exposure from that Storm Mage. Now, again, if this mage is dead, It's not going to be applying any shock. So if you want, you can run 2 of them. Right now, I am just running 1. Then you have your actual damage dealers, and this is where all your damage comes from, and this is your Skeleton Storm Mage. We are taking multiplicative damage with Feeding Frenzy. We are taking multiplicative damage with Elemental Focus. We are taking +1 to minion skills and +1 to lightning skills. Now, if I had a 6-link here, I would also take Execute, which gives you a 40% multiplicative damage to enemies at low life or under 35%. That would be 3 multiplicative damages, which is huge for bosses and rares when they get down to that last 35% or final phase. So we are looking forward to that. Moving over to Pain Offering, we are taking Expanse for area of effect. We are taking Font of Rage to give our minions rage. We are taking Font of Mana, which is going to boost our mana because this is a Mind Over Matter build. And we are taking Elemental Resistance for our army. Moving over to Blasphemy, which keeps us alive. We are taking Enfeeble, and we are turning this into an aura around us. I am telling you, once I have made this change, we move from literally tier 10, tier 11 maps, sometimes struggling, to pushing full endgame T17 maps. On here, we have bigger area of effect, so the enemies don't have to be as close to you. Bigger area of effect, so enemies don't have to be as close to you. And then on here, we have Wind Wave, which is actually really nice. Triggers Wind Wave when stunned while using supported skills. So you get stunned, and it pushes everyone away from you, hoping that the stun will go away. Moving over to Conductivity. This is going to be a manual curse that you will cast. So Enfeeble is just cast as an aura around you, and this you'll be casting yourself. We are using Hex Bloom. Curses from supported skills spread. We are using Heightened Curse, which is supported skills are more effective. And then on here, we're taking Spell Cascade so that when we cast it, you've got these 2 on the outside as well. Just a bigger hit for it. Easier to hit enemies. Last but not least, the newcomer. So you'll notice we're not using Flame Wall. We are not using SRS. No, we are currently done with that. Instead, we are using Unearth. You'll see we have a lot of skills left over. Now, Unearth is used almost strictly for map clearing. And you're going to notice the first time you try this, damn, this is such a quality of life. Now, this has almost no effect when you are fighting a boss, but every once in a while, a boss will bring in minions to try and kill you. And when they do that, you are very happy because you can make a 22 bone army. Now, for Unearth, we are giving our minions lightning damage. Since they have lightning damage, that means inherently they have shock. We are giving them persistence so that they stay on the field longer. And for us, we are taking less movement penalty while using the skill, so that way you can move freely and not be super slowed down. Those are the skills. So now let's break down the passive tree. At time of recording, I am level 90, and to finish off my passive tree, I actually need to be level 91, so we are 1 away. Now, when it comes to the Ascendancy, we are an Infernalist Witch, and I know we're not really using fire, but it still works totally fine. The first thing you want to take is get your Loyal Hellhound. This is an awesome minion that doesn't require spirit. That's what makes it so awesome. You're then going to come down here and get Altered Flesh. Make sure your fire resistance is maxed first. It's the one that is the most important. And then we're going to come down here and get Will, which the more maximum life you have, the more spirit you have. Now on here, I literally hate Sanctum and Ultimatum. It's not my favorite mechanic, so I haven't even bothered with the 4th Ascendancy yet. That being said, if I did complete it or attempted it, I guess I would come down here and get Gaze, but I'm not 100% sure. You would be trading 600-700 life for 400 mana. So I don't know if there's a huge benefit there. You could just take 6% more life, or you can come over here and get 4% more mana. Just know the 6 Ascendancy points are what matter, and the 7th and 8th points aren't that important, okay? Now, when it comes to the passive tree, let me see if I could angle it so you could get a screenshot. Looks like, there you go. So if you want to take a screenshot, this encompasses, the entire passive tree right there. Now, it is hard to kind of break down every single node on here, but ultimately I will kind of do my best. First thing you want to do is come up here and grab all of these minion nodes and your mana and mana regen. You're then going to come down here and get faster revive. You want your minions when they die to pop up and grab more maximum mana again. Mana is very important, is the quintessential stat for this build. You're then going to come up here and again get more revive, life, and attack speed for your minions. You are then going to cut left, come up here, snag this node, Relentless Dead. Minions revive 25% faster. You're then going to come up and snag these to keep your minions alive, but more importantly, reduce their reservation cost. That way you can have more of them. Now, once you're at this point, you've got a lot of options. You could cut left over here and boost minion life, resistances, and damage. Or you can come over here and you could start building towards Eldritch Battery. Now, ultimately on here, there's a couple big nodes you need, 3 of them. You need Whispers of Doom. This makes it where you can cast 2 curses. Eldritch Battery makes it where it converts all of your energy shield to mana. That way, that's how I have 3,700 mana. And then Mind Over Matter. Mind Over Matter, all damage is taken from mana before life. Now, on here, these 3, like, they need to come online later in the game. Now, when I said that I moved into crit, there's a couple of new nodes that I have taken. This tree right here for critical strike chance and critical strike bonus damage. And then right here, minion increased damage, minion critical strike chance. So we've taken some crit on this tree as well. We've come down here and snagged more maximum mana and regen. And again, minion critical strike chance. So we're just really fine-tuning the passive tree at this point. I also have 4 jewel slots, and the main jewels that I get, they're very cheap. Mana regen, minion damage, minion elemental resistances. And I literally have 4 of those on my tree. All in all on here, very, very refined. We've also taken 20% damage taken recouped as mana. And on my amulet, I have snagged Mind Eraser, another 6% damage recouped as mana. So that is 26% just from the passive tree. Last but not least, let's talk about gear. And there's nothing on this build that is required, which means you got to go get this belt or these gloves or this scepter for it to work. Every single item I am wearing is rare. Now, that being said, for up to level 89, I was using this belt. This is the Midnight Braid Rawhide belt. It is literally almost free on the market, only cost you a couple exalted gems. And what's great about this belt is it has max mana, all resistance, but more importantly, 50% of damage taken is recouped as mana. And again, when you are sitting at 3,600 mana, and you are up to 96% mana damage taken recouped as mana, it is a very, very nice belt. But since then, I have now replaced it for a true endgame rare belt so that we can get an extra charm as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my items one by one, and you can check them out, starting with my scepter. 209 to spirit on it. Level to minions, lightning damage, max mana, mana regen. Helmet, energy shield, max life, max mana, minion skills, lightning res. It's probably the next item I will switch out. Amulet, max mana, max life, spirit, rarity, 20% of damage taken recouped as mana. Focus, double energy shield, max mana, int, fire res, mana regen. Body armor, energy shield, max life, spirit, fire, cold. Boots, movement speed, max life, max mana, triple resistance. Gloves, energy shield, max life, max mana, dex, cold. My new belt, flat armor, 160 to max life, 160 to max mana, charm, chaos res. Ring, max life, max mana, elemental res with mana regen. Ring, max life, max mana, int, fire, mana regen. And then for our charms, we're using grants immunity to freeze and cannot be stunned. So that is the gear. And when you break down the character sheet from this gear, You will see that we have 2,500 life, almost 2,600, 3,600 mana, 487 spirit. We are maxed in all of our resistances, and very, very cool, we are at 446 mana per second, and when we are around our pain offering, that goes up to 475. Now, last but not least, the final point that I need on this build, again, I am level 90. Once I hit level 91, I'm going to tick this passive node, which is flow. You are always moving. You are literally almost never stationary. And this is going to give me 50% mana regen while moving, which is going to push our mana regen to almost 500 mana per second. And you have the damage recouped as mana. So when you're using Eldritch Battery and Mind Over Matter, you're pretty damn tanky. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my new Storm Mage Witch for PoE 2? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I could do to take this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Only, of course, if you think I have earned it. Check out the Discord, approaching 4,500 members. We do a game giveaway or merch giveaway every couple weeks. It's also where we do game night and movie night. And the best way to support is, of course, Patreon. I'm done. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.